Do you ever have those days you get questions from strangers where you're like, why are you asking me that? Well, today I'm going to answer 6 questions that are commonly asked of dads with daughters. Hi, I'm Anthony, and I'm going to be starting a series on what it is family life for a dad with a bunch of daughters. I have 3 girls. I love my girls. They are the most important thing to me, and I want to really demonstrate what it is to live with a bunch of girls. My whole life has been pretty much living with girls outside of my dad. I had 2 older sisters and my mom, and now I have my wife and 3 young daughters. And it's one of the most joyous times, but there's a lot of different experiences for those men that have boys and those men that have a mix of both. When you're just having girls, there's a very unique thing that happens within those relationships. So today I'm going to answer and give my response to a couple of common statements that people make to dads with daughters, just to kind of give you what my worldview is. Not that I actually give these statements or respond to people this way, but just so you kind of understand what my beliefs are in these questions and statements. Before we get started, I do want to mention that if you like videos with homeschooling, parenting, and general family life fun, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you get all of our future content. The truth is, there's often times when people ask those questions, I just want to straight up go like this. Ugh! Now you will notice in all my answers there is a high level of grace and understanding and compassion within my worldview of how I engage my daughters within these questions. I have to have a heart that starts with grace, compassion, and forgiveness. So let's get started. 3 girls. They may be cute now, but just wait until they become teenagers. You know, it's really interesting you should ask that question. I've actually heard this one quite a few times. And the interesting thing is that with my daughters, I really want to develop the relationship now. I want to win their hearts now. As a dad, I want to work towards winning their hearts so that they want to focus and love me first, so they just don't go looking for some guy. My job as a dad is to make sure that they have everything they need from their father first, so that they don't go seeking some random guy out there to get love, because love first comes from their father. My care, my love, and my awe and wonder of them is not based upon their behavior. It is in who they are. They are my children. They're children of God. They're image bearers of God, and therefore I want to treat them as such. They are strong, beautiful young women, but they have to have their character developed. And so when we start at a young age, developing their character and moving forward, those teenage years, yeah, there'll be some hard times. Hormones, emotions may come about, but there's already a level of trust and communication with them that allows them to be able to come to me in those difficult times where they don't have to feel like they have to keep dad at arm's length. So are those teenage years going to be rocky? Probably. Are we going to have some spats and some difficulties at times? Probably. But the reality is, I love my girls, and it's not the behaviors and the things that come about in those years that are going to make me determine whether I love them or not. I'm going to love them unconditionally. Man, after that second girl, you must have been trying for a boy on the 3rd one. You know, that's a really funny question. Because when we're making a decision to have another child, that is the furthest thing from our mind. Because we have no control over it. And it's 50-50 shot. I could flip a coin, get heads, get tails. I could flip it a ton of times and get heads every time, or flip it a bunch of times and get tails every time. You know, so with me, I won the lottery of getting 3 awesome, amazing girls. I never thought of it that way. And ultimately, it comes down to we don't have children for gender. There's no reason that I need a boy. There's no reason I even need a girl. It is simply a blessing from God, that the children are blessings from God who with whatever we receive. And fortunately for me, I have daughters that I'm going to have relationships for a lifetime with them. I love them, and I tell you what, there's nothing like a daddy-daughter relationship. It must be so disappointing to not have a boy. That question's so funny. If I had all boys, you could ask if I am just as disappointed with not having girls. But most people don't ask that question. Why is that? Do we devalue girls for some reason? Oftentimes in this culture, it seems like girls are just devalued. But ultimately, we could be disappointed either way, whether we have all boys or all girls. And I could act disappointed, but what could I have done about it? Being disappointed about not having a boy is like being disappointed that I was given $1 million from Steve Jobs, but it didn't come from Bill Gates. I'm still getting $1 million. I'm still getting something from somebody. It's just who I got it from. There's putting a disappointment in the person that gave me something amazing. And so being disappointed that I have girls and not boys would just be ridiculous, because I can't change what's going on with what I was given by God. Life with girls is very pink, and there's unicorns and mermaids and fairies and princesses, but it's awesome. But I have to tell you, it's also Marvel and football and baseball and soccer, because they love doing daddy stuff too. Aren't you disappointed that nobody's there to carry on the family name? You know, this question is really interesting because it really draws back to the olden days where women had no rights at all whatsoever. And so when we look to, especially like the Bible and throughout history, that women essentially had no inheritance rights. And so you needed somebody to carry on the family name so that somebody could be able to receive your inheritance when you died. So the receiving of the name, carrying on the family name, is linked more to, again, us devaluing women and not having them be strong women of character that leave legacies themselves. And so we want to really train our girls that they have character and that they are strong women to be able to do whatever they choose, whether it's cooking and being an awesome chef, or being amazing artists or musicians, or whatever these girls want to do. They are so strong and so capable of doing so much. And how many times have you seen that there is a boy that carries on the family name and they have awful character, they're terrible citizens, and their relationship with their family is completely abysmal, and oftentimes there's even fights over those inheritance rights there because somebody has the family name. I would rather have children that have strong character and are good citizens and raised well than have somebody that just happens to have my name after I'm gone. Don't you wish you had somebody to play sports with? Well, when it comes to sports, I have plenty of people to play sports with. I've coached football, I've coached wrestling, I get out and we do turkey bowls for our churches, we play softball with church. I have plenty of men in my life that I can go and play if I need a play fix with playing with other men in that avenue. But I gotta tell you, my girls, they love to grab a football, and they can throw footballs better than a lot of young boys of their age. So I've trained them well because I was a coach. I show them how to throw a football, and they love it. They love to get a football and throw with me. And we have Daddy Dog Pile Time and Dad's Angry Bear games that we play, and just all kinds of different ways that we engage and play together. But ultimately what it comes down to is that the measure of my parenting isn't about what I can or cannot do with my kids. It is ultimately about the relationship that I have that is long lasting, that is built on unconditional love. Oh boy, you know that's going to get expensive. You know what? I can't argue with you there. It is going to get expensive. Horses, beauty pageants, sports if they're going to play, ballet, dancing, traveling, cooking lessons, whatever these girls want, it's going to get expensive. But I tell you what, if you put boys in baseball or football or any other sport, or having them play instruments or anything in life, it gets expensive. Because guess what? Kids are expensive. And when it comes to the times that they're going to get married, and we do the traditional thing where we pay for the wedding. Well, guess what? We've got a lot of talents in our family, and we'll do just fine. And Grandma's going to make those wedding dresses, right, hon? And if you watched her other videos, you know that their aunt makes awesome wedding cakes. See, we're already cutting the costs as it is. And not to mention, we have a photographer in the family and a marriage and family therapist. So as you can see, we've got it all covered, even if it is expensive. What questions or statements do you get that you just feel are inappropriate? Never thought that was actually an inappropriate question to ask. Yeah, those questions are inappropriate. My intentions were good. As you can see with any of these questions or statements, it all boils down to the relationship you have with your girls or with your boys. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So long as you're building quality relationships and character in your children, that is the most important thing that you do as a parent, is making sure that they are prepared for life. Whoa, I feel enlightened. So if you found this helpful, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you can get all of our future content, and know that we're doing a great contest right now. This is my wife's painting that she did. We have a video in the description of her doing a time lapse on this painting and explaining the moon phases. When we get to 500 subscribers, we're going to actually give this away, and the way to do that is by answering the question of the day. And so today's question of the day is, what statements or questions do you get from strangers that are maybe semi-inappropriate and make me want to just do that full punch like I did earlier? What do you get, whether it's about boys or girls? What kind of questions do you get? Thanks for joining us today, and if you would like to see other content, we have a video here on how I save money when we go out on trips. Have another one here on how we save money when we generally go out to eat with a family. We've got a family of 5. I said it was expensive earlier, so you want to learn how to save money because that's how I deal with the expensive part, right? So see those videos. Check them out here, right over here.